right, so one of the, I guess, major issues for hybrid, for those that are considering hybrid, is at some point, hybrid means you got some on-prem, you got some in the cloud, what are you going to move across?
Right.
And you then are having a discussion around migration.
Yep.
And so we got a long history there, a lot of fun, a bunch of activity. I remember one of my first experiences back in 2006, I joined in February or March of 2006, was we were doing an internal migration, so we were going from 2003 to 2007, and I don't remember all the circumstances around it. I just remember people running and freaking out because of lost data. Like a migration didn't go and the data was gone. Right. And so that was an internal migration, as we were practicing what would become the service and part of Office 365. But so where have we come with migration?
Well, we've come along with migration. Some of that is just by virtue of the product, and migration can be viewed in two different ways. I like to view it in one way. Migration to me, in the sense of SharePoint, in particular, means that you're moving across versions or you're moving to the cloud. By across versions, I usually look at migration as being something like 2003 to 2010, 2010 to 2016. So
versus just a move, or
yeah, and usually version to version, I see that N-1 effectively. I look at that as an upgrade, whereas N-2 I view as a migration, because that's what you're relegated to doing. So where have we come from migration? From the upgrade perspective, our code base has remained relatively stable over the course of the past several releases. And by stable in this particular instance, what I mean is that if you think about 2001, we had this profile DB. 2007, we had a shared service provider, an SSP. 2010, we had the services architecture that you'll find even today. Right. So for several releases now, we've really maintained that same underlying architecture. That eases upgrades.
So you can actually go into the version, you can go into the code, you can actually see some things and references to the older versions as well. But.
Exactly, and then we introduced some of the backward compatibility, deferred site collection upgrade, backward compatible sites, so you can run those in a compatibility mode. So we've been doing a lot of work to really ease the upgrade process. On the migration side, we've been doing a ton of work through Fast Track to enable people to take advantage of Fast Track services. Now, Fast Track services, people traditionally think, okay, that's a migration service Microsoft offers. It's not a migration service. It is a business success service. So really what we look out for Fast Track is not only can we help you migrate, yes, we can do that, but we really set you up for business success with the product, because migrating and nobody using it doesn't equal business success. So we really help you optimize to not only facilitate a migration on your behalf, helping you get through that, but we'll also ensure that you're successful once you arrive. So not only
that's a great point, because it's not just about moving the data across. I mean, once you get there, if people don't understand, hey, what's changed, what's different, what's changed in the experience, but there's a lot of different reasons why then users might then kind of move away from the technology.
Yeah, and if you visit fasttrack.office.com and you actually look, there's a productivity library. A bunch of short little videos shows you how you can leverage those features. So really designed for the business decision maker to figure out how to use select features in Office 365. The other thing too is hybrid plays a big piece in any migration strategy. One of the things I like to say is it's not hybrid or migration, it's hybrid plus migration, because what hybrid allows is that connective tissue between on-premises and Office 365 for the long run or for the short haul when you're migrating. And the beauty part about hybrid is, if I could draw it in a non-technical way, is assume this is the Earth. Obviously, I haven't quite realized that it's circular yet, or a sphere, but we'll get there. And we have this lovely place here, pardon my drawing. This is a palm tree, and here we are in Honolulu, and this is Seattle. Now, Seattle's a great place to live, but this gets a little bit old. Yep. What hybrid allows you to do is effectively live in two places at once, have a foot in two places. So it allows you the beauty of Honolulu's weather and the joys of living in Seattle, so absent those things. So hybrid is a best of both world approach that allows you to live in two places at the same time. Where you started and where you're relocating to in Office 365.
And of course, Bill lives here, and his servers sit over here.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so I know that there's a lot of other things that as part of that when you do a migration, it's not just again even that move, but hybrid gives you just another set of options that are available for you to go and look at and say, historically, here's our data, here's our systems, here's our capability. As we go and migrate up to that next version or move some of our data, some of these systems, some of these users over to the cloud, rethinking how we're using the technology, how can we improve on, not just move across, but improve the experience, improve our capabilities, make data more accessible, add additional data that may have been, limited accessibility, even with the on-prem version. So we actually can expand the number of capabilities by moving to hybrid or to the cloud.
Yeah, and I think of, there's a couple of facets of hybrid. I look at it in 3 different ways. There's the app discovery layer, which I tend to refer to as, think about something as simple as the app launcher that we introduced for both 2013 and 2016 natively. It allows you to discover your applications across both on-prem and online, and it's extensive.
And it's a unified experience. The user just goes in and says, hey, it's an app, I click on it. They don't care whether it's on-prem or online.
But, and then what that allows is consistency. Users are creatures of habit. They tend to perform the same actions each day, so they have a certain set of expectations. By giving them unified navigation, you abstract where they need to go to. They're not having to manually enter a new URL. Azure AD will manage authentication, so you can do same or single sign-on. The next layer is apps themselves. Many applications in Office 365 support hybrid scenarios, and not all of them are complex to leverage. Actually, none of them are with our new hybrid configuration wizard. But a great example of which is, how are you handling media today? In many cases, if you have video, what are you doing? Storing it in a document library. If you're using SharePoint, you probably have a customization on top of it. What you're not getting is, you're not getting encoding, you're not getting streaming, and a number of other things. You know what? You can make that, you can reduce your storage costs and provide a responsive experience, because we'll manage encoding and streaming for you through Office 365 Video. You create a video portal, create subsequent channels, store your videos, right-click a video, choose embed, paste it in your on-prem pages. The users don't have to care where the video comes from. They don't have to ever navigate to the video portal, because you can actually bring the video experience.
But that's a perfect example of not just moving things across, but actually looking at, say, well, this is how we used to do it. Here's what's now available, and then changing the way that you go and do that. And there may be reasons for some of those videos not being available to that environment, or what have you. Maybe there's sensitive intellectual property that's captured in different things that you might take a subset of that and use it, store it somewhere else, but then the rest of it make available.
And you can do that for a number of different things. If you want to bring a social element, a conversation-based social element into your organization, and supplant maybe something that you've been doing on premises. So you have a marketing team site today. Create a marketing group in Yammer. Once your marketing group's created and people are collaborating, on the lower right side, you'll notice an embed this feed link. Click on embed this feed, copy and paste the code, go to your on-premises SharePoint site, the marketing site, add the embed code there. Now you have conversations right beside the content. So there's many facets of hybrid. There are those that are infrastructure-based, search, taxonomy, auditing. There are those that are just application-based, which are simple redirect or embed scenarios. Yammer, OneDrive for Business, Office 365 Video, the list goes on and on.
Well, that's why migration has never been a, hey, just push a button and it'll happen over a weekend. It's always more complex than that. But it means that you really do need to be thoughtful about the process and what you move and when. And
yeah, I think there's a certain aspect or a certain degree of business analysis that has to occur before any migration. Just taking all of your data and moving it into Office 365 is not going to guarantee you success. The only thing that that'll achieve from a success measurement perspective is that you've moved to Office 365. But if you think about what Office 365 is, we infuse intelligence in everything we do, whether that's security through concepts like e-discovery, advanced threat management, and others, or OneDrive for Business through Discover, also through Office Delve, and some of the new search experiences where we bring contextually relevant information to the user without asking. If you just view Office 365 as being this big storage container and migrating every single bit of data you've ever collected over the past 15 years, your users are going to be inundated with information because, again, machine learning is going to process that. So you really want to quantify what goes there and then do an analysis to say, what's going to be most beneficial to my users? What's my working set versus my non-working set? Because I really want to enable the power of these intelligence-infused scenarios in Office 365, but I don't want it to become a detractor by giving them too much information, because then they can't consume it. So you have to really do the business analysis up front. What outcomes do I want to achieve is another question. Hey, if it's media distribution, video, leverage, embed, simple hybrid, you've got it going.
Right. I'd say that migration is the one topic in the hybrid discussion area where there is, there's a maturity in the content and the guidance that's out there around it. So definitely plenty of information to go and look at. But again, I just always say be thoughtful about that process and use it as an opportunity to go improve upon, not just move, what you have today.
Yeah, and you definitely can't have a, how do I migrate to Office 365 conversation, particularly in the setting that we have, where maybe you have 15 minutes. If it was that easily achievable, that'd be great. But at the same time, it's definitely a professional services discussion that you need to have.
It's always a service component.
Right, with Microsoft or with a respected and trusted partner, which is, again, thinking through these things, thinking through business analysis. What do I want to achieve? What outcomes are important to my business? What data will be, most beneficial inside of Office 365? What can I maintain? And then how do I connect the two? And that's where the hybrid migration and those discussions come up. So definitely something that you can't cover in, a 15-minute span, but those are simple things that you need to think about before you move. And then, eventually you end up in this state where you can have the best of both worlds.